Properly degassing our silicone will ensure the vast majority of air is out of our silicone rubber, giving us the best chance for a successful mold. Let's go over the tools we'll need to degas our silicone, the basics of the process, and a few helpful points as well. In order to degas our silicone, we'll need both a vacuum chamber and a vacuum pump. The vacuum chamber will hold our silicone while the vacuum pump removes all the air inside through an airtight hose. There are many vacuum chambers and pumps on the market. The one that makes the most sense for you will depend on how much material you plan to use. For the majority of situations, a medium-sized 5-gallon chamber like this one from our friends at Best Value Vacs will do just great. It comfortably fits our largest graduated container, and when partnered with a 4 CFM vacuum, will remove all the air in our silicone within about 60 to 90 seconds. There are a wide range of options out there, so do your research and make the best choice for your work style. The only strong recommendation I have is to purchase one that is well reviewed and safely constructed with a clear lid so you can see inside the chamber. This will let us watch what is happening to our silicone throughout our process. Following the manufacturer's instructions, we can connect our pump to our chamber, add the necessary oil, and test our setup by pulling a vacuum. With everything running as expected, let's mix up some silicone and go through the process. First, we'll make sure our silicone is in a container that is at least twice as big as our total material. If our silicone fills the majority of our container, it won't have enough room to rise up and release the air. Next, we can remove the lid of our vacuum chamber and place our container inside. We'll put our lid back on our chamber and make sure that the rubber seal is evenly placed around the perimeter. It's important that we do this so that we pull a proper vacuum and so that we don't put any stress on our chamber. With our material inside and our lid properly on, we will close our air inlet valve and turn on our attached vacuum pump. With the air inlet closed, the vacuum pump will start to remove all the air inside the chamber through the connected hose. As it does, we can see that the vacuum is being pulled by watching the gauge on our chamber. Although we could operate things solely based on this gauge, we'll instead pay attention to what's happening inside of our silicone, since that's what we really care about. As the vacuum removes the air, the bubbles inside of our silicone will grow and rise up to the surface. This raises the level of silicone in our container as the air begins to slowly pop. As more air is removed, the bubbles in our silicone will continue to grow in size until a critical moment when the silicone rubber stops rising and starts to fold over onto itself. When this happens, it means that the vast majority of air has been removed from our silicone. Letting the vacuum run for 30 to 60 more seconds will ensure the air is almost completely gone. At this point, we can stop our vacuum, slowly open the air inlet, and then wait until the chamber is back to ambient pressure to remove our lid and silicone rubber. Once our silicone is out of the chamber, we can take it back to our workspace for pouring. Getting used to this process will take a few tries, but we will find ourselves comfortable with the process very quickly.